Well, I think in general here, we could explore a little bit of layer 5, see if there's anything actually dangerous to face down there. But I think I'm actually alright, potentially just heading back up to our regularly scheduled dungeon. We will, of course, based on this prompt, have to decide where our skill training goes next. I mean, it's tempting to go shields, but there's no guarantee we'll get a better kite shield. Better kite shield, I say. Literally any kite shield is better than our current setup here. So maybe we can hold off for a little bit. And that would probably mean just fighting an Invo. These will be our two kind of stalwart skill training allocations throughout the entirety of the run. Because I believe with Zin, we eventually want to essentially just max out Invo. Keep that reciting going strong. For the time being, we will set some caps just so that I don't inevitably kind of completely forget to ever change up our skill training. Know thyself, and I know that myself is a dum-dum, so perfect. And okay, where did we start to face the music? Apparently it wasn't here. We finished D11? I thought we came across something impassable and disastrous, but again, just another nice little indication of the fact that you should never trust my memory with anything actually important or critical. Maybe. I don't know. I like to imagine that when it is something important, that's when it gets locked in. Unfortunately, I think the reality of it all is that instead of a rat on my head that helps me cook like a genius, there's instead a rat in my brain that anytime I have to, remember anything, think of anything, really do anything in my life, it's a giant roulette wheel. One of the like double green 0 option, that's the successfully execute on what you were trying to do. Everything else is just a whole slew and mess of fun TM. Heavily italicized asterisk fun. But okie dokie, not going too poorly for us here. We can start to do Sanctuary. Also, thank you, headphones. I realize you're dying. That's something I'm sad about. You'll notice these headphones, again, if you're a longtime viewer, I've had these the whole time. They've been here the whole time. And they've been falling apart for years now, right up here. I did get myself a replacement pair. I actually have them right here. Slightly newer model. Got the red, which I'm neither a fan nor an antagonist of, I guess. But even after getting the new set, I'm a creature of habit. I couldn't let these bad boys go, especially for stream. Like, all the sound settings are all just so. Still probably trash because I'm not a very, good audiophile type person. But I'm going to be wearing these till they fall apart. And I can tell it's getting close. The other day, this headphone just completely came out of socket, which I don't think they're meant to do in the first place. And then on top of that, I had these plugged in all day. When I first plugged them in, no charging light came on. I thought to myself, that's weird. So I just unplugged every single piece, USB plug, and then the actual USB-C that plugs into them. Maybe I'm bad with my nomenclature for various charging cords. Anyway, replugging it, turned the light on. I was feeling good, feeling fresh. Noticed it 2 hours later, the light was off, and I thought, that's weird. I thought they were almost dead. Guess I was wrong and they're fully charged now. Apparently not. Apparently they just aren't very happy with the whole charging arrangement and would prefer to just not do so. Which is fair. I've put you through the ringer, headphones. Especially since, I don't know how universal this is, but when you have a pair of headphones, especially Sennheisers are pretty tight when they start off. I was wearing these, I had these before I got the new set. I think I had these for 6-7 years, maybe even longer, honestly, but somewhere around there. And they've just felt the same the whole time, right? They just are what they are. Getting the new pair, I put these on, and for the first, like, I don't know, 6 months, wearing them for longer than 10 minutes would give me a headache, and they were just so tight. And of course, I'm pretty sure they're identical in factory settings and makeup, but it's just the fact that over the years, these are, they're barely clinging on or rather they're hanging on for dear life. And that's why I think they've, over time, gotten worse and worse damages, because now they're at the point where if I, like, do a sudden head movement, like, they almost came off there. And so I'm out shoveling snow, and they just inevitably fall on the hard ice and covered in snow, but hey, they're still holding up to this day, and I believe. Never give up, headphones. I believe in you. Your headphones are being held together by nails because a plastic part cracked. I love it. I love that kind of ad hoc MacGyvering. You know, cowgirls make do. Got it sorted. I should do something like that, specifically with this, where all of the connection is coming apart. And again, this headphone just got almost lost permanently. Almost a fatal, actually not even a fatal wound. That's more of a slight inconvenience. You still got one good headphone on you, buddy. You're still in this life for at least, or in this gig for at least 10 years. But I should probably, put some kind of handling to try and extend the longevity of them. But that's fine. Sympathize with the fit issue. You have a massive head. It's always a struggle with headphones. Okay, so we're exactly on the same page, because I believe that is the main impetus for why these headphones feel so tight when they're brand new. And it's my big ass head. I'm so sad my brain wasn't able to come up with a more fun synonym there. When the mental thesaurus lets you down in the most critical of times. Shaking my head. Your mouse has nails in it too. I see you have a go-to strategy for any of your on-site emergency repairs. Honestly, that's pretty good. I do have a good collection of screws now that I do tell myself I'm holding on to for that rainy day where I use it in some kind of ingenious solution to a problem that's been affecting me, but generally that's more of a hoarder's fantasy of mine than any tangible, I guess, valid fact. But I should maybe try my hands at them when I'm ready to finally put the nail in the coffin on these headphones. That's when I'll start to experiment, and I'll see just how far I can push it. Maybe I'll turn them brand new, and then I'll never have to get new headphones. Wouldn't that be lovely? But chances are I'll probably wreck it. I know. We'll see. Only time will tell. At the very least, though, I should tape the crap out of these. I know, maybe I learned it from watching... Oh, who did I watch back in the day as a content creator that had the crappiest pair of headphones that were falling apart? It might have been Day 9. But I'm unfortunately unable to place that memory in my mind palace here. But maybe that's stuck with me a little bit more. I was going to say a little bit more than it should, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad trait. I'm definitely a very frugal person, and I pretty much never enjoy spending money on myself. Like, getting these new headphones was, I don't know, a Herculean task to try and convince myself, and that was with someone else being the impetus for getting them. I think my partner was like, "You're wearing the headphones all the time, you should get a nice new set." And then joke's on them, because I still wear my old set. Hell yeah, brother. Though I do, for some level of professionality, I do like to wear that set, the newer set, when I'm working. Especially since I already sometimes feel like I have an audio processing disorder. When I'm talking to folks over Zoom and Slack calls all day, I don't need to add crappy sound quality into the mix and ship them to UI Screwy. which I actually just realized. I didn't put two and two together, but you're really missing a branding opportunity. Instead of fixing everything with nails, one would think screws would be the more accurate fit. You know what I mean, Ice Crew? Your headphones are decade plus old cheap Logitechs. Hell yeah, brother. That sometimes have static until you mess with the cord. You put new ear cups in them last Christmas and you're pretty sure they're good for another decade. I love it. I wonder what became. I used to have a really cheap old set of Logitech headphones. In fact, I was talking earlier this stream about that netbook that I played DCSS on. And that netbook and those little Logitech headphones it had a little like rotating mic that came down. Man, I love those. I mean, ever since I switched to wireless headphones, I don't think I can ever go back to anything else. Or if I did, then I'd be at danger of like constantly tearing apart my technology. Just because, yeah, every time I wear wired headphones, or like, God forbid, these headphones start dying when I'm in the middle of something and I have to plug them in, without fail, at least once, even in like a 10-minute gaming session, I'll suddenly try to get up to my feet and either my head will be pulled down at an awkward angle or I'll feel like I'm tearing up my computer and putting everything at risk. But yeah, both with headphones, and same, I have this little controller I like to use for a few different games. And I was using a wireless dongle for the longest time, but now it just, every 30 minutes will decide at some random period within to drop the connection, which I don't mind too much if I'm playing alone, but when I'm playing with people, I was playing like Played Up with some siblings, and every other day, or every day at least once, having to be, the game pauses automatically. I'm like, oops, sorry. But anyway, all that to say, I switched over to using wired connection, just for simplicity's sake. If I'm playing with others, let's not impact their gaming experience. But I, again, have run into that same problem. I've tried to get up more times than I care to admit. I have not learned from that mistake and just continued to do so. But you made that username when you were 9 and you were not hustling back then. Fair enough. I think that Ice Crew as a username has aged very gracefully, especially compared to a lot of old usernames online. I mean, I'm so happy that I think the worst offender for me was that my very initial email account was probably like Torin_rocks at hotmail.com. I think something like that, which, by the way, that account never made the transition from Hotmail to, what was the first one? Did it go to Live? Was that the first like buyout of Hotmail? And then you had a time period where you were supposed to log in or something. Hell if I know. But I just think of that name every once in a while, or that email, because that was also like my first RuneScape account. But otherwise, I've used made up words. In fact, a lot of my usernames aren't even words that I made up. I just stole them from like my older siblings' friends that I thought were cool, or it was like an interesting word. So nothing too atrociously embarrassing in my my username history, which I'm always very grateful of. I mean, most people in my generation, or at least in my close circle, their worst crime when it comes to usernames is being very like edgelord about it. But hey, that was the thing to do back on Nexopia, you know? So who can blame them? Probably have that exact set of cheap Logitech headphones, been going strong for years. Love it. I mean, that's the thing about a lot of tech pieces, and especially I find headphones fall into that mix. When you find the one, you know it's the one that works for you. I mean, the extreme of that is there's a Minecraft YouTuber or something that I think I saw a post that was talking about how they just went out and they bought like 50 pairs of the headphone they like. Because I think in that case, the factory was going out of business or something, and they just want to ensure, like, no, the rest of my life, I will only use these headphones. And I can respect that. I'd probably do something similar because I, once again, just 100% a creature of habit, and I like my things to be as they are. I realize whenever I talk about a lot of those habits, I probably sound like the most, or like the least progressive person. I like to think that most of my idiosyncratic adherence to things that I'm comfortable with mainly lives and dies with the Kirky. There we go. Thank you. It worried me for a second there, my enchantress friend. But yes, mainly just operates for tech and lifestyle things within my own sphere. Otherwise, I like to think that I'm fairly progressive, though, don't we all? So, who's to say? But anywho, holy moly. I mean, it's nice when we've gone this long and I've just been like rattling off whatever kind of thoughts come and go with the flow of time here. It generally is a good indication for the run. It means that we're in a solid place where I'm not thinking too hard about the minutia, and instead just letting it all roll as she do. And that's definitely been the case for this run here as well. So hopefully it keeps up. I don't know how much longer we'll be on this evening, but at least until we wrap up for the night, I would like it if this son of a gun could keep on kicking. But yeah, now I'm thinking back to that old Logitech headphones. I bet the netbook and that headphone pair is still sitting somewhere. Again, the pros and cons of being someone with a bit of a hoarder mentality. Anytime I get this like nostalgia feel and I want that fix, it's almost always an option, because I've managed to tuck it away somewhere and hold on to it for all my days. Hello, my boulder beetle friend. Not too shabby. So we're just about done through the regular dungeon here. Ooh, Phantom Mirror, Heal Wounds. I mean, the Heal Wounds is expensive. That's one pricey store. It also reminded me there's stuff way back from D2 that I never ended up buying. I mean, at this point, I think that mace can go. I think that's a fair assessment. I could get a manual of fighting. I also picked up an acquirement scroll. Okay, so the push and pull of when I get when I distract myself thinking through all the nostalgia and fun little tangents. Sure, the run is good enough to do so, but I also cannot keep up with what's going on. Why axes again? The hell, brother? Okay, my maces and flails are my bread and butter, if you could please. At least that's how these normally work. They're at least weighted to be, you know, more likely useful than not. But in this case, do I just take the buckler? It's a sad day when you take the single ego +0 buckler from your requirement. Though I guess I can't complain too much. It's probably a sadder day in many respects when you take the gold, especially when it's down at 470 instead of like a nice round 1000 or whatnot. You know what? I'm never getting a better shield. I'm really laying it on thick, trying to like convince the karmic fates of this world that I'm in need of a gift. Sandbagging all the way down. But I think I'm still okay with that trade-off for now. Let's finish off this floor since I was gonna say we no longer have the money. For whatever reason, my dumb brain thought that we went up and bought that manual, which I will do now. Almost glad we didn't, because I was extremely tempted by some of the scrolls in that shop. But for the time being, I think this might be nice just to rapidly bring our fighting up. Essentially try and fake out being a normal character in terms of our HP pool. Sounds good to me. Let's head back to D14, shall we? And not that one, but Not that, but this. Let's double check that I wasn't just blinding myself to the possibilities here. And in general, not a whole lot going on. I'll buy a scroll of noise. Don't think we had those ID'd yet, so that's always a nice kind of free pass at through the process. Still no brand weapon, eh? I'm sorry, DCSS. Did I do something to upset you? Skeletal warriors. Finally, we get our vengeance. We get our retribution. And not too shabby. Another shop. I mean, in general, these weapon stores are a bit less likely to turn into anything that we wish to explore. I don't have any willpower. Which is just, I guess, a true statement in general, but mostly was talking about the game itself here and our inability to prevent this banishment from ruining our day lives and everything in between. Well, I guess it's to one of those branches. We should probably go back and just finish Lair, actually. That's a pretty straightforward endeavor. Oh, an orc is also around, so that's not too shabby. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the subscribe. Tralfamadorian. How was that? Hopefully not too bad. And I guess I should specify a Tralfamadorian exile, because if you're exiled by something or from something, probably a pretty important distinction. My brain went through like 4 different iterations on different username references there, but the main one is that it brought back something I thought of in our earlier discussion about your kind of older usernames. I've always loved the concept of everyone's username is either a philosopher, a Pokemon, or what is it, like a pharmacy. That's it. It's a philosopher, a Pokemon, or a pharmacy. And generally does all right here. Chadleywick, definitely a philosopher. It's a bit harder when people have longer names. I think it's mainly used for like one word, but like Iskruy, that's a Pokemon if I had to guess. My name back in the day, my go-to was definitely a Pokemon. In your case, it's a Vonnegut reference. Been a big fan of his since I was a kid. Oh, very cool. That's one of the holes in my pulp culture that I wish wasn't quite as prevalent. Because there's a lot of kind of passerby references to Kurt Vonnegut, for sure. But anything meaningful, I kind of start to lose the thread a little bit. Oh my gosh, from Chadley as well, giving a gifted sub. Well, thank you to you both. I do appreciate it. Never any pressure. I do just also appreciate you spending your valuable time hanging out here. But no, I do thank you for the contributions there. Ooh, yikes. Well, we at least heal up a little bit, and then let's not accidentally step ourselves out into worse combat than we've been planning to face in a while there. Whoopsie daisies.